According to Proverbs 4 verse 7, wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. It is of supreme vitality for you and I to do whatever we do with understanding. Why do we do what we do? Psalms 119 verse 62, the Bible says, at midnight I will rise to give thanks because of your righteous judgment. Man, it is a beautiful thing to obey the Lord as He grants grace, to wake up at midnight and give God thanks because of His righteous judgment. When 2020 began, the Lord gave me 2 verses that has been quite prophetic for me for this season. And one of those scriptures was Isaiah 54 verse 1, where the Bible says, sing, O barren, O thou that did not have a child. Cry out with singing, for many are the children of the desolate woman than those of the married one. Sing, O barren, break forth into singing, you that did not bear a child. For many are the children of the desolate than those of the married one. And there are 4 key things in that verse which I wish to refresh. 1, it is the instruction to ranan in Hebrew, which means to sing, to break forth into singing like somebody who is victorious. How can God expect a very interesting audience, which according to the book of Ezra chapter 2 verse 64, they just came fresh from slavery. Number 2, what they were seeing in their lives at that present time was ruins, was devastation, was nothing with beauty. And not only that, but there was barrenness going on in the lives of both the males and also the females. Actually, the Hebrew word akar for barren does not marginalize the males from the females, but it applies differently. For the females, of course, your eggs are sterile. You are sterilized in a way. You are sterile. But for the males, your regenerative organs are extirpated. The word extirpated means to cut off, or to plug out, or to surgically remove. So God is talking and giving an instruction to a very interesting audience. These are people who are sterile. Number 2, these are people, their regenerative organs has been plugged out, surgically removed, and pulled out. Pain has been involved. Number 2, hopelessness is on the table. Number 3, man, shame. Because when people know about your private issues, sometimes you may lose confidence if the Lord does not come through for you. But God still instructed them to sing unto Him, to love Him, to lift up His name, to give Him thanks, to give Him praise, to sing because of His goodness, because of His greatness, and because of His holiness. And you and I can learn a few things, because I don't know where you are in life right now. Maybe you're going through a very rough moment. Maybe you're going through a very tough moment. Maybe you're experiencing some form of barrenness. It may not be physical. It may be emotional barrenness. It may be financial barrenness. It may be relational barrenness. Every time you get into any promising relationship, abortion gets to come on the way, or you never conceive at all. Man, there's a solution. God says, sing, O barren, you that did not bear a child. Break forth into singing. Shout, despite your sadness. Break forth into singing, regardless of your present condition. Break forth into singing, regardless of the shame in your life. Why? Because God knows how to turn your sorrow into dancing, how to turn your sadness into rejoicing. God knows how to turn our barrenness into fruitfulness. Remember the original blessing that He gave in Genesis 1:28. The Bible says, and God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the water, over the bird of the air, and everything that moves upon the earth. So you and I do have the blessing of fruitfulness. We are designed, we are capacitated to bring forth, to grow, to increase, to be fertile, to be productive. We are blessed, capacitated. But sometimes as we journey through life, we do face some challenges that has in a way a grip on things or areas of our lives, and we end up not showing forth the fruits that we ought to. But you know what? God, because of his loving kindness towards the family of men, towards his beloved, those who respond to his love by expressing thanks, by expressing praise, by expressing worship, he has a way of turning things around. But because he's a God of principles, he asks you to do something which he knows as you do that, it gives him legal right to operate in your life and do for you what you cannot do for yourself, and do for you and I what we cannot do for ourselves. And one of the ways is praising God. It's talking to God. It's spending quality time with God. I wish to also make you realize from that text that sing, O barren, you that did not bear a child, break forth into singing. For many are the children of the desolate. There's abundance coming your way. There's more coming your way. I've come to learn one of the very interesting statements that are very close to my heart, that if you have believed a lie for a very long time, when the truth comes, the truth sounds like a lie. If you have believed smallness for a very long time, when God talks about abundance, it appears like it will never come to pass. But that is the lie from the pit of hell. That is the frequency of the enemy trying to tell you that God will never do for you. Change the channel, change the frequency, and tune into the frequency of God, and allow the truth of God, and allow what the Lord says of us and to us to come alive as we obey the instruction given. Break forth into singing despite the sadness, despite the unwanted things that are happening in your life, despite the hate, despite the segregation, despite the marginalization, despite the emotional brutalization, despite the scandalization of your name. Break forth into singing and let the Lord do for you what you cannot do for yourself. And that is bringing forth growth, increase, productivity, fertility in your life. I also want you to know that don't forget who promised that. The Lord. Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh means I am. Number 2, it means self-existent one. Number 3, it means eternal one. 4, it means supreme in authority. 5, it means controller. 6, it means master. 7, it means sir, the being that deserves the highest respect. Now, I wish for you and I to understand the importance and the benefits of spending time with God. The benefits of spending time with the Lord.